There we are. Hi, everybody. I thought I was going to be 10 minutes late. I ended up being about 25 minutes late. They're doing some construction on this side of the wall here, and there was a minor accident. No, nothing's wrong, but it was crashing and banging for about 10 minutes, and there's no way I could have gone live. It just would have been really disruptive. So everybody's okay. I knew they were going to be having an issue because they couldn't get something detached from the wall, but it ended up being worse than I thought. So anyway, I'm going to go with you over probably about 15 minutes across 3 o'clock, so we'll go to 3:15. I need about 45 minutes to finish prepping Crystal Masters, but thank you for your patience. I'm just thankful everything is okay. That was quite an event. Okay, and today I'm doing readings for you from, yeah, everyone's okay. I don't know if the wall's okay, but people are okay. I'm doing readings today from the Secret Garden deck for you. I know. They're almost done. I have about 2 more weeks of stuff happening on my house, and then they're all done. And they started late today, so I was like, well, anyway, they're done for the day, so we're not going to have any more interruptions. The Woman of the Hour. So this deck, I promised you last week, it's by Rockpool Publishing, if you want to find it. I got mine on Amazon eons ago. And then I bought I bought one for me and I bought one for Zoe. So this is her favorite little deck too. They're little tiny cards of little secret signs and encouragement. Isn't it fun? Take refuge from daily life within the secret mazes, rose trellises, strange statues, and fairy gates. Isn't that fun? So it's Zoe's deck. I'm going to read from it for you today. And what I like about this deck is, in fact, I may be able to get to more of you than I usually do because I'm going to focus on sort of shorter, more concise messages for you today, carrying you into the full moon. Right? We've got a waxing moon now. We've got building energy happening. And it's Regina's first reading. That's very exciting. Do you want a reading? So if you want a reading, the rule is you have to say yes. Please read for me, what messages are coming through because I need your conscious permission. It's very important for me as a reader. I don't read for people who don't ask. Like, I don't give unsolicited advice because energetically I think it's bad. You don't have to agree. But when I've given advice that wasn't requested, I've felt the energetic reverberation of that. So now people in my life know if they want advice, they have to ask for it. And then I'll tell you exactly what I think, but I'll never tell you what I think if you don't ask. So it's very important to ask. And I'm going to ask my spirit guides to come closer and ask yours to come closer too, asking that only information, wisdom, and service of the highest good of the ones who's asking, is allowed to be transmitted. And together we say Amen, and so it is. Thankful for the wisdom coming through. All right, Stacy 712. So this is my first session, and you have permission. Thank you so much for that. All right, and first name too, please. If your YouTube handle doesn't have your first name, because I do call your energy into the time with me. So, like, if your handle is, most of you, it's your first name. But if it's not, if you have a first name that is your energetic name, please let me know that too. All right, Stacy. Let's see what's coming through for you today. I like this card for you. Opportunity. There is no use looking for luck. It arrives at unexpected times. Isn't that true? That's been true for me too. So, I'm going to do card and quick channeling for you today. For Stacy. October. That's what the spirit guides are saying. Something's coming in October. And it feels good. They're talking about an open door. Are you expecting something or someone in October? Yeah, something's coming. And the energy of it is very nice. It feels like, it doesn't feel like something you've been expecting. It feels like something you've been hoping for. I usually do that before class, and I forgot today because I was rushing a little bit. All All right, Patricia Wolford said, my anniversary today, 21 years. Congratulations to you, darling. Where'd you go, Patricia? I had you and I lost you. There you are. Patricia. Well, I lost you again, but I saw you. Hi, Patricia. Happy anniversary. That's a big anniversary. How are you celebrating that milestone today? Patricia, Patricia, Patricia. Retreat. Are you celebrating with quiet moments today? The guides are saying within that there's some healing happening within your partnership, and it's really good. It feels really good. There's a deepening of your relationship they're talking about. And isn't it interesting? I've been with my husband for 21 years, and isn't it interesting how it's like a spiral staircase, like it keeps going down and down and down, like there's more to know, more to know, more to know. Human beings are endlessly fascinating. And very few people are together as long as you have been. So congratulations to you both, too. Okay. Christina Hyman says, this is my first live in eons. I love that. For Christina, she said, if you feel called, I would love to know what messages you have for me. Let's see what's coming up for you, Christina. Hi, Christina. Christina, Christina, Christina. Keep going, girl. Persevere. Leave no stone unturned. Keep going, keep digging. That's what the spirit guides are saying. Did you need some encouragement? We all do sometimes, you know. That's the difference between human and spirit. Spirit doesn't need to hear, oh, you did a great job, or wow, you know what, congratulations, or I see you, or keep going, or it's worth it. Spirits don't need that. It's kind of like feeding food to people who don't eat food. It's like, that's nice, thank you, but I don't need it. But humans, we need it. We need the quiet voice of encouragement to persevere. Christina, did you ever see I only found it a few years ago, the poem about perseverance that my grandmother wrote me? You know, she died like 25 years ago. So she wrote this to me when I was in my 20s, early 20s. I think I was 20 or 21 years old. But I have it framed in my bedroom. Makes me emotional to think about it. But anyway, if you would like to see it, let me know. And I'll post a picture of it for you. It's very simple words. But maybe there's something in you that needs to see it. Whenever I feel like I need it, I go back and read her words, you know? Okay. Here we go. Okay, Stormy Henry. Hi, Stormy. Stormy, Stormy, Stormy. This is where the path of healing really begins, right? We've been talking about this lately too, forgiveness. A crushed flower still gives off a sweet scent, right? Isn't that a really powerful message for you today? They're saying this is about yourself. Is that true, Stormy? That the person you need to forgive is you. The person you need to look out with more grace is you. That even though you've been through some hard times, that you're still able to love and able to give and able to support and able to provide and able to grow. Is that resonating with you today? Seeing the beauty in you. You know what I mean? I think that's the key. So where does forgiveness need to come for you today? That's a big question. Don't you think, Stacy? Yeah. I remember, 11 years ago when I was diagnosed with MS, I remember thinking, like, am I kind of broken now? Probably sounds crazy. But I was young. I was in my 30s, right? I'm like, oh, is this it? Like, are people always going to look at me and go, oh, it's great, but you have MS, you know? Because when I told my boss that I had MS, I think I told you this, they took all the projects off my plate. They took all my big accounts away. And it really hurt me because I was still really smart. I just, got sick. So I think part of me was like, is my rose not as fragrant now because this thing has happened? And I think a lot of times when we have a struggle or a challenge, we have to remember that challenge does not now define us, right? I wish I could have hugged me at the time and said, you've got so much more to give and the right people will appreciate it. But I didn't know that, so. Whew. Elizabeth Mistwood. Hi, Elizabeth. Elizabeth. Do you have a nickname you go by? Why is Spirit talking about that? What's your nickname? Do people close to you have something they call you? Transform. It's the work of the moment. Rise above any situation and become the best version of you. This is interesting, Elizabeth. I feel like, let me try and translate this for you as well as I can. There's a you where you are right now, and but you're being called to this like other version of you, is the way I'm seeing it or hearing it. And it's like the you that isn't yet, but you're like on the way to that you. Does that make sense to you? So it's almost like you're in between. You're in between who you've been and who you're becoming. And it's like Spirit is like pushing you a little bit to get to where you're trying to go. Does it feel like pressure? But this change is coming, is really, really good for you. It's going to expand what you know and how you understand it in the world and how you share what you know with other people. But it's like, there's almost a feeling when I step into your energy field, there's almost a feeling of like, but Lizzie, okay. But listen, I don't want to call you Lizzie if that's not okay. But Spirit was wanting to call you by a nickname, and can I call you Lizzie? I would never ask that. So I just want to put my arms around you today and say, I feel what you're feeling right now, and it feels like stress. And so don't take it, it's making me emotional. Don't take it as stress. Take it as excitement, or take it as enthusiasm, or take it as you're on your way. Take it as a sign that you're headed where you need to be going, and don't take it as pressure. I hope that's helpful for you. Thank you. Thank you, Lizzie. Spirit, I couldn't tell what Spirit was saying, but when I was saying Elizabeth, Spirit was like, and I'm just like, okay, well, it says Elizabeth in the feed, so, and I don't have a nickname. My name doesn't really lend itself to nicknames, so I never quite know what's going on there. Okay. Where's Paula? Paula Vargas. Yay! Hi, Paula. Oh, look at your, I love the yin yang with the hearts. I don't know what they call that, the little circle next to your name, but it's really pretty. Paula. Are you shuffling the cards, Paula? All right, Spirit, what are we doing? Paula. Beauty. Dare to be tender and strongly vulnerable. I like that. What does it mean to be tender and strongly vulnerable? They call me Fina. Isn't that interesting, Samantha? My kids, when they were little, called me that too. I didn't want them to go by my, given name or whatever, but they would call me Fina, Mama Fina. What does it mean, Paula, to be strongly vulnerable, but also tender? We have this saying sometimes, Paula, in our community of being a softer strong. That sometimes by being strong and being vulnerable and saying, hey, you know what? I'm not perfect. I don't have it all together. I don't know everything. That we actually communicate a strength to people instead of always putting on a show like, nope, got this all together. I'm good. I'm perfect. I don't need anything. I love the nicknames in the feed. So Paula, what I'm getting for you is this is something for you to consider where you can bring deeper tenderness, and part of it's with you. There's a few relationships in your life that could benefit from a softer strong, right? I don't coach a lot of people anymore, but I still sometimes coach a few people. Like when people will come to me with a problem and share it, I will give them some advice when they ask for it. And I have one person in my life right now who's working on a challenge in her professional life and asking me for advice. And my advice to her is, you have to be more present sometimes, like physically present, energetically present. Your words and your emails and your voicemails and your presence in meetings and things like that is really reassuring to people. So Paula, in whatever part of your life this is coming up for you, I think your presence is what's needed. But because your presence communicates what Spirit's saying, this softer vulnerability, right? Do you know that about yourself? That you come across as both tender but also strong. But your physical presence is needed. Interesting. Do you know who it's for? All right, Lynn Pellick. Yeah, I love that, Jimmy. It's true. Lynn Pellick, I love my first reading. Here I am, Lynn. Let's get in there, cutie, and see what's going on for Lynn. So Spirit is saying play, and the card is saying discover. Are you being too much of a grown-up? My kids both want to be grown-ups. They're at that age where, like, I can't wait to be grown-up. And then when we're grown-ups, we're like, I'm going to be a good grown-up. And then when we get to be in our 50s and 60s, we're like, I want to be a kid. Time to play. There's something you need to see visually through some kind of travel. Do you know about this? Are you going away for the weekend soon? If you're not, can you go away for the weekend soon? Whatever this is not far from you. It's a drive. It's not like a plane ride. But there's something you need to see that's going to stir up. It's going to show you something. You're going to have one of those aha moments. So I don't know if you're a weekend away kind of girl, but if you could do that, somewhere you're going to drive, you're going to see something. You ever had those experiences where you're like, I think I just saw this tree and it like helped me solve a problem, or you have a conversation with somebody in a restaurant and you're like, you put the pieces together? Something like that is going to happen for you. Can you go away for just like a day or two? It's not far from where you are. It's near water. It's small water. They're showing me like a stream or a river or some kind of lake near it. And they're being very specific. It's not like on one side of that. Okay. Oh, Paula, yay! Well, I wish you so much joy. Maybe that's your reading for the year, Paula. You know what I mean? I usually do these annual readings, Paula, for people when I know I'm looking ahead. And You know, and so it becomes this thematic to guide you through this next new year ahead for you. So maybe that's one of the themes of the year ahead for you is like, you know, I can be strong, but I can also be soft. And I don't have to be one in exchange for the other. And that's a big lesson for people because people think if they're going to be strong, they got to be tough. But tough isn't always the right medicine. Tough can actually, you know, reinforce challenges that we're experiencing rather than untangling the knots that surround us too. Thanks, Regina, for being here. We'll see you in class tonight. I'm glad you were here for a little while. Okay, let's see. Hold on, spirits, like go back up. There's a lot of you who need something, so I'm gonna do a little bit of a lightning round here to try and get to as many of you as I can. You ready? Julie NZ. Any guidance would be appreciated. The last couple of months have been more difficult than usual to do this physical issue. I see you. For Julie. It's an interesting card in response to your question. Wallflower. Look for the crack in the concrete to find your way out. I'm going to channel, but I'm going to channel fast. There's something really subtle that's being communicated to you right now, but it's a profound message and you need to pay closer attention. How's that for Honey Badger today, Julie? They're trying to show you something. I think it's through someone else. So pay attention to what other people are showing you right now. There's a message about how to move through this time. Okay. Jessica Clark. I would love a reading. They have us going back to the office soon, and my hermit is really struggling when I think of the adjustment. It's hard. Any advice from my guides? Let's see. Jumping cards for Jessica. Jessica. A couple of you are jumping beans. Jessica. Down the rabbit hole you go. They're reminding me of some of my favorite advice. It's not what I would have told you outside of a reading, probably. Maybe it would have come to mind, but what if it's great? My favorite game is What If? Because what I've learned is my mind, and you may feel differently, my mind goes to the worst possible outcome in most scenarios. So when it's left to its own devices, my mind goes to what if the worst thing happens? What if it's horrible? What if you hate it? What if it sucks? What if it's hard? Right? My mind does that. So I have retrained my mind over the last 20 years to go the opposite direction, which is what if it's great? What if I love it? What if it's easy? What if it's exactly as it's meant to be? What if I find someone there who is really important to me that I would never have met otherwise? What if all my future hopes and dreams depend on it? And then all of a sudden, somewhere in the middle is the truth, right? It's rarely as shitty as I imagine it's going to be, and may not always be as great as I imagined it could be. I think the message for you is, can you dream something magnificent about this transition into being? Because the card's saying there's a surprise. I like the universe's surprise. They're always bigger than anything I could come up with. All right. Yeah, see, Alexis is back this week for the first time. I would be back sooner than later if I had a floor. My floor is somewhere in the middle of the Indian Ocean right now. Lauren Conway, she's back, and it's her 14th sobriety birthday. Happy birthday to you. Any birthday wisdom coming through for you? It's a big birthday. I'm so proud of you. So happy for you. Lauren. Cancer. Reminds me of you in Rock. The littlest key can open the heaviest door. I married Lauren to her husband, and they are treasures in my life, so that's why I'm laughing about her and her husband. I know them very well and love them. So what's next? What the spirits are saying, Lauren, is today's a very important day to mark, and it always will be. But the best part of today is not today or what it represents. The best part about today is the potential it holds. That the best days of your life are coming. Today would be a nice day to write a little wish list, like a cosmic wish list, because you've got waxing moon energy on a very significant energetic day for you. You're the littlest key, cutie. You sure are. Mm-hmm. I'm little, but Lauren's littler. Oh, yeah. All right, Karen Kelly. Sobriety birthdays are a big deal. My aunt never got to have one, and she was magnificent. So thank you, all of you who have chosen that path. I thank you on behalf of one I loved who wasn't able to be as strong, and we miss her every day. All right, Karen Kelly, woo! Now it's my aunt who's shuffling my deck. I give permission for guidance. What do I need to know that I don't know now? It's always the biggest question, right? For Karen, Karen. As with the falling leaves, embrace change. Mm-hmm. Oh, Karen, you're ready for it, though. I love that, Lauren. What do you think of that? Right? Change is coming, but you're ready. You've been asking for this change. That happens sometimes in Soul Shift. You know, it's like change is coming, but Spirit will tell me, like, yeah, but she wants it. This is all good. You're ready for this. That makes me really happy for you. Really happy for you. Okay. Nancy Sue, our 49th anniversary was this month. Hey, cutie. Congratulations to you both. Would love to hear what Spirit has to say. 49 years. I'm only at, it's our 18th wedding anniversary on July 18th, but we've been together 21 years. He's still alive, Nancy Sue. Have you noticed? And I want to just say congratulations to me for that. How you're at 49, Nancy Sue? I swear to God, it's like a miracle. So happy anniversary for Nancy. And yet, maybe he can still surprise you. Venture down the rabbit hole. Mm-hmm. You guys are still integrating. It is our golden anniversary. Isn't that crazy? I'm going to write Dave a card that says, congratulations, you're still alive. There's still some really exciting moments ahead for you, and that's what Spirit's saying. There's still more to know, more to see, more to explore. You guys have a lot more years together is what I'm getting. And how exciting is that? Are you traveling together this year or next year? Spirit is saying 2022. There's a trip for you both. Isn't that interesting? Somewhere you've wanted to go. Have you planned it yet? You may not have. I'm getting the sense that maybe you haven't. It might be an opportunity that comes up for you. You know those kind of random things sometimes, like, hey, do you want to go here or whatever? And you're like, I kind of do want to do that. Something good is ahead for you and your beloved. I love that so much. Oh, your dad's birthday's on July 18th. That makes it extra special for me, Sandy. All right, Kimberly Wilson has given me permission to move the energy and give the messages. Thank you for that. Let's see what's coming up for Kimberly, Kimberly, Kimberly. Hold on. There we go. Is that you, Zoe? I swear somebody just knocked on my door. Nick? Somebody just knocked on my door. Maybe we're going down a rabbit hole together. This is pretty crazy, don't you think? To get is this the third or fourth time the surprise card has come up? Kimberly. Did you hear it? It was like, it was not the music. I'm not crazy, right? Lauren Conway, Sherry heard it, Mackenzie heard it, Susie heard it. There's nobody out there. And Bodhi's at the shop with Dave today. So, Kimberly, you heard it too? I mean, I can tell by the shadows that there's nobody out there. So, Kimberly, nobody's at the shop with Dave. Alexis can attest. They keep saying good news, Kimberly. Good news. Unexpected, but it's good. Doesn't feel like anything big. I'm just going to tell you that. It feels small. They're showing me this is something small. And so, sorry I got distracted, but I was still in the channel for you. So something that you aren't expecting. It's not a big deal, but you'll be happy about it. It could be very small, but still something to just, those little things come along just to remind you that you're in the right place at the right time. Isn't that interesting, Kaz? And you have a feeling about that? From the ashes of fire shall be woken. Isn't that interesting? Okay, Danica. Tremonton. Hi, Danica. It's a beautiful name. Danica, Danica, Danica. Wildflower. I feel like a wildflower. Live an uncontrolled life, free to grow anywhere and bound by nothing. Live an uncontrolled life. I don't really know what that's like because I have a lot of responsibilities, but in my heart I feel uncontrolled, which is what matters. What does that look like for you, Danica? Is there something that's too tight around you right now? What can you do to release the pressure is what the spirit guides are asking, just a little bit, where you feel a little bit more of that wilderness, Sometimes it can be just a few minutes where you sneak away, or you do something that feels wild to you, or have a wild thought, or, get a wild book, and read a wild book, but you need to tap into a little bit of that, undomesticated, to use Stacy's word, right? Oh yeah. I'm glad you guys heard it too, because I was like, well, but now I look like a real crazy lady. I'm telling you, there's knocking, and what if you didn't hear it? You'd be like, is there knocking in your brain? Yeah, Danica, so what can you do to release the valve, right? What can you do? Oh, thank you for that, Stacy. Really appreciate that. Okay. Deanna Franco, permission given, please. I need guidance. My parents will be married 66 years on the 24th. If 49 years is a miracle, 66 years is legit, like sainthood. You get a cape, you get a trophy. I think you also get like your statue in like Italy somewhere, or at the Vatican. 3 times as long as I've been married. more than 3 times as old as I look. Deanna. I will need a cape and a trophy. And you know it's true because you know him. Let's see what's going on with Deanna's parents. Deanna. Looking into your line. Maybe it takes a little courage. When picking roses, don't fear the thorns. It's probably some of the best life advice, don't you think? Is your mom worried about something? Spirit's talking about your mom. She needs something from you, or some guidance, or maybe it's just you personally. Feels like there's something on her spirit, and it's nothing bad, but it's just like Spirit's like her mom. So maybe you can ask her what she needs. I've learned that with my parents. It's like sometimes just asking them, do you need anything, or what's on your mind, or do you want to lay anything down, just feels good to them. It feels like maybe your mom has some energy that needs to get moved. I don't know how open she is. Maybe you can move it for her with some crystals. I mean, you've got all the tools and all the wisdom and stuff, like you know what to do. So I'm just going to leave that mom tidbit with you. But yeah, I mean, a blessed partnership, a long road, but your mom feels tired. She needs a little encouragement. What does Deanna's mama need? I'm calling her spirit guides. What does she need today? If she was sitting right here, I'd be like, you know what, Deanna's mama? I should pretend that I'm a fairy godmother and I'm going to wave a wand and give you whatever you want. So what is that? You're like, just kidding. They're going to give it to you. Yeah, mom needs something, Deanna. Maybe you already know what it is, but if not, just ask to be guided. Yeah. You're a tired mom too, Kathy Eastman. I see you. I am too. It's going to be bittersweet when my kids go back in September because it's been really hard, doing everything here and, kind of on my own in a lot of ways. Although Dave's a great support, but I mean, in terms of the kids, but it's also bittersweet because it's like, I'm tired. I'm excited for them to go back to school and stuff like that, but it's also like, what a blessing it's been to have them here 24/7 too, at such a pivotal age. So I try not to, wish it away because it's so precious. Whatever time you have with your family is always precious. Okay. Brittany Hester, I would love a reading. I feel like I have a lot of changes coming my way. All right, Brittany, let's see. I feel like you do too. Rest. What Spirit is saying to me is imperfect time. The reality is we all have a lot of changes coming our way. I think our planet is changing. I think our systems and structures are changing. I think I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but if we were just sitting here with nothing else to talk about, I would talk about how I think our bodies are changing. I think our human systems are changing. I think our ecosystem is changing. So I think we all have a lot of changes on the way. And so we each individually do too, but I also think as a collective, there's a lot of sort of root level transformation that's happening that we haven't even seen the shoots of yet. It's all kind of happening down here. And so I think this is almost like it's coming up, Brittany, as a message for you, but maybe for all of us. It's like, take a little time to rest. You know what I mean? We don't always have to be on the path of preparation. And sometimes the best preparation is to reserve and conserve your energy so that you have the energy you need when the time comes to step into the changes that are ahead of you. I'm an introvert by the Myers-Briggs inventory. You should know what your Myers-Briggs type is. So if you've never never done the MBTI, you should Google it, take the test, and see what your Myers-Briggs is. I'm an introvert, like true and true, through and through. Even though I seem extroverted, I actually recharge my batteries by being alone. So I sense myself internally trying to rest because I sense that there's some transformation ahead. And it feels collective. It doesn't feel individual. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Hi, Lori Michelle. She says, waving my hand wildly from the back of the classroom. Me, please. Hi, Lori. How are you? Seeing your hand in the back of the class. Lori. Play. Among the grass and wild violets lie undisturbed little secrets to uncover. Time. Why are they talking about time? Time. It's really important for you to have a little bit of reflective time and space right now, is what the spirit guides are saying. And that doesn't have to look like play. It could look like art. It could look like going to a park and just sitting with the trees. It could look like going near a body of water and just putting your hands in the water. But you need a little bit of a space. The energy's dense around you. They're showing me kind of like a moat around you of this really dense energy. It feels like stress. Is that accurate? Yeah, it feels like stress, and it feels like a little bit of tension in one of your relationships in particular they're pointing to. So you just need to step away for a minute. So the play thing is like, maybe you play, I mean, to me the idea of play doesn't excite me, but the idea of escape does. So instead of thinking about play, I will think of like, oh, I should like go down to the ravine here and, you know, run down the hill or something. That intrigues me. But just like going and playing, like, doesn't really intrigue me. So I think the play card came up to remind you to take a break. But I don't think it has to be play in the sense of like you're not really playing. You know, you're trying to create space. Yeah, so, and a lot of you who are, I'm an INFJ, which is one of the rarer types in the Myers-Briggs type inventory, which, by the way, I'm sure you know this, was designed really by Carl Jung. And Jungian psychology is really what's underneath a lot of our soul shift content. I studied Jung for a long time before I started teaching, so your MBTI will tell you a lot about who you are. A lot. All right, Susie Blam. Permission given for an inspired message from Spirit. Hi, Susie. Let's see what's coming up. Susie. Twilight. Surrender to the last hour when the light barely touches the flowers. I try always to be outside at twilight because I do think it's magic. The Egyptians thought it was. The Egyptians thought that those last 10 minutes between when you can still see and it is completely dark, that was when the highest magic could be performed. Interesting. Spirit's saying this is kind of a metaphor for some of the places you are in your life. Like you're at the end of the endings. What does that mean? There's a couple of relationships, it feels like, in your life that are like at the end of the end. It doesn't feel like death energy. It feels just like shifting in cycles and new people in and old people out, and kind of like a revolving door kind of energy, the end of the endings. They're also saying that it's the end of the endings in the sense that like there's more new beginnings ahead. Have you felt like these ending of cycles periods? Now, a lot of times with a lot of retrograde activity, we can feel this too. We've had a lot of retrogrades. We're going to have a lot of retrogrades through the end of the summer. So that can also feel like the ending of the endings. September for you is when they're saying there's like this this new opening or this new portal where new energies will start to come through. It's like the conclusion of, but it's a lot of cycles. You might want to have your chart progressed and kind of see where you are, because I'm also at the end of some major cycles in my life too, Susie. So you might want to have a good astrologer look and progress your chart to see if technically you might be at the end of some different cycles as well. I don't know if the returns that I taught you about last week resonated with you. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Where am I going, Spirit? I'm going to do one more individual, and then I'm going to do our collective reading for you. Marie Clarkston. Hi, Marie. That's my mom's name, by the way. And I love it. It's my sister's middle name. We've kind of passed it down through the family because we all love it so much. She said, I'd love a first time reading. Thank you so much. Marie, Marie, Marie. What a great card for you. Serenity. Value quiet days with only the rustling leaves breaking the silence. I really love that because it reminds me so much of the teachings in Buddhism that, you know, happiness is not the goal. The goal is just peace. An easy day with not too many interruptions, where maybe you hear the sound of the leaves through the tree but nothing else happens, that's a perfect day. And so sometimes you'll have really exciting days where you're super, super excited, and sometimes you'll have sad days where you're very sad, but like the goal is just to have these very even, peaceful, mellow days. Spirit's like, she could use some of those. Is that true? Are you in need of one of those days where all you hear are the rustling leaves? Yeah, Spirit's talking about August, September, and October as being a very important period for you this year, Marie. The fall of this year. And they're talking about a door opening and a door closing. So something will come to a conclusion. Something is going to begin for you during that period. You won't notice it now. You're not going to notice it in July. You might start to feel the effects of this in August, September, October, November. It'll be complete, they're saying. And it will bring some change to your life. And again, most of the changes that have come through today, I mean, everything I've sensed feels really good. I would often tell you, you know, like if this feels heavy, this feels challenging, this feels uncomfortable or whatever, but it feels like it's good. Sometimes the change I sense feels like an answer to an intention. This change feels like it's happening to prepare the space for something else that's coming after it. Does that make sense to you? It's almost like you got to build a foundation for your house. The pendulum is like, shoo, 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 shoo. You got to build the foundation for your house before you build the house. This is the foundation for your house that's coming this fall. And it feels good. It's a necessary step in your process. Don't work too hard. Well, I don't know what that's about. There's just a little, like, don't tell her not to work too hard. Is that what you default to? Oh, thanks, you guys. All right, thank you, Debbie. I love you, Wooby. Thank you for that time check. So it's 3:15. I'm going to do our collective card because our class starts in about 45 minutes from now. So this is a card for everybody in Soul Shift. Everybody's watching now. Everybody who will watch later. The card to guide us through this solstice week, right? A lot of energy happening this week, so we gotta manage it. Gotta ride the wave. Just Soul Shift, Soul Shift, Soul Shift. This weekend feels so masculine because we've got our summer solstice ceremony on Friday is Soul Shift, and we have Father's Day weekend here in the United States, and then on Monday we have Litha, we have summer solstice, and it's all this like paternal, solar, patriarchal kind of energy. And I'm so masculine anyway that I've been like spending a lot of time like taking extra baths or like being near the water or drinking extra water or like working with Moonstone and trying to like summon some of this feminine energy because it's like it's so masculine right now. It just feels like boom, 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 boom. So, are you ready? For the collective card, it's not going to surprise you. I'm going to remind you really quick before I show this to you. This is a big deck, and I shuffled it well. So do you know what the collective card is? Holy shit. Yeah, it probably is why you're grinding your teeth. I'm very active right now. You know, like doing things, which is very masculine. I'm not being, I'm doing. Surprise! So I pick up my pendulum just to listen, you know, because the meaning of a card is different depending on who you're reading for, right? It's like, what does this mean for the collective? It's the fourth time today. Here's what Spirit's saying. You ready? You haven't taught them the difference between intention and expectation. Well, shit. Because Spirit's right, I have not taught you that. Maybe I should wait for class. Did you see a rabbit today, really? What's the difference between intention and expectation? The pendulum is like... Yeah. The universe loves intentions. The universe resists expectations. Because expectations come with entitlement, and entitlement is not spiritual. It's sort of the opposite of humility. It's the opposite of surrender. It's the opposite of serendipity. You know what I mean? So when people say, "Oh, I'll be there at 3," in Spanish, oftentimes you'll hear "primero Dios," right, which means "but first God," or "inshallah" in Arabic, which means, you know, God willing, right? And I love how in other cultures, whether it's inshallah or primero Dios, that there's this idea that, like, there's a higher force guiding whether I'll be there at 3 o'clock or not. And in my culture here in the United States, we don't have anything like that. We don't say, but first God, or, you know, God willing, or because we're not, you know, we're not steeped in that particular tradition. And a lot of people don't, you know, but it's not even really God first. It's like creator first, source first. You know, source willing. We'll be there at 3, right? Interesting, isn't it? Allow yourself to be surprised. When you allow for surprises, then you engage serendipity and you stay at the level of intention and you avoid the problems of expectation. Does that make sense? Didn't expect to talk about that today. Ojalá que sí, right? But we don't have that in our culture. We don't make that statement of, like, I'm not in control. When you hear those statements in those other languages, it's like, okay, I'm acknowledging that I'm not in control. There's some higher force, and if that force, whatever they are, deem that to be perfect, then I will be there, and if not, then I won't, because I'm not in control, right? I'm so glad that came up today. That may be some really important teaching. Yeah, there's a humility that comes with saying, I hope so. I hope so. And there's also a part of you that when you say, I hope so, if fate allows, right, Brittany? I hope so. There's a part of you when you do that that says, I know there's a force greater than me. And so I allow that force to operate freely in my life. That was really cool. Have I said that before? I don't know. Maybe in a different way, right? That was really fun. I appreciate that. I do feel like the readings have been super, they've had like a narrative arc, you know what I mean? Like a beginning, a middle, and an end. Maybe they've always been that way, but I especially have noticed it recently. So I want to thank you for bringing your energy here, because it really, like, there's a way that these are all connecting us, and it becomes an extension of the teaching, which is pretty cool. All right, well, it's 3:20. I'll be back with you at 4 o'clock for Crystal Masters. I'm super excited for today's class. We're going to be meditating a little bit, so have a pillow or a place to lay down so that you're super comfy. I'll be guiding you through some visualizations, and you can choose to be active and awake while we do it, or you can lay down and let it be an energy work session for you too. I want to thank your spirit guides for coming closer. I'm going to thank my spirit guides for helping me out here today. And we'll give thanks for wisdom that continues to flow. Pay attention to your dreams as always, because interesting things can keep flowing. Well, if you missed it, go back and watch the beginning. You might still find today's session to be interesting for you. I think those who need to see it will watch it, as it usually